Hello and welcome to episode 35 of the Sweet Lavender Knits podcast. My name is Christine and I'm coming to you from just outside of Toronto, Ontario in Canada. Today is September the 8th, it's Sunday afternoon, and I thought I would get a podcast in because I have a few things I'd like to share with you. So if you're new, I welcome you, and for those that are returning, I welcome you back. You can find me on Instagram as sweet_lavender1 and on Ravelry as sweetlavender1. We also have a lovely group on Ravelry called Sweet Lavender Knits Group. So come on by, check us out, and introduce yourself in the welcome thread, and feel free to join in. There is a chatter thread called Let's Chat. It's for anything, so feel free to join in there, share what you're working on, or if you have any questions you want to ask the group. And that's where most of our the Ravelry group is where most of our knit-alongs are done as well. So yes, come on by and check us out. Yes, so let's get moving with the podcast. So why don't you grab your needles, something nice to drink, your favorite project, and let's get started. So welcome again. Thank you very, very much for all of your lovely comments on the last podcast, and just for all your love. I really appreciate it. Many of you said you like the outdoor location. It's starting to get chilly now. I thought I'd make use of the days when they are bearable for me to sit outside. This is my bedroom and I'm just outside on the balcony, and this is where I like to hang out a little bit in the mornings or in the evenings before it turns too dark, and get a little knitting done. There's a little bench I'm sitting on here, and I thought I'd just try and do a podcast here whenever I can. Yes, and it's much better lighting than if I was trying to do it indoors. Anyways, so what have you guys been up to? It's been 2 weeks since I last podcasted. I was, I don't like to jinx it by saying I would be doing a podcast every 2 weeks, but whenever I can, I really do like to sit down and chat with you. And I don't have a knit night to go to for those that are new, and that's why I'm invited you to mine, and I hope that this will be a very nice knit group that you will enjoy being part of. Our group is now over 300 members. I can't believe that. I know we are still a small group. I really am not worried about the numbers. I'm not here to make numbers. I'm just here to have fun with you guys and just enjoy this process of this craft that we so like, and that's all it's all about. Yes, so what's been going on in my nook of the woods? It's back to school, September 3rd. We had a holiday. It was the Labor Day long weekend, and so the 2nd was a holiday, and then 3rd everyone went back to school. My son went back to university, and he is now going to university close by to home. So his classes officially started on the last Friday, and so yeah, he's just getting into the swing of things too. I'm quite happy to have him back home. It's nice. I don't have to stress and worry about him being away, although it was, I guess, good for him. But yes, he is here now, so that's good. I also noticed that he was wearing my hand knit socks a couple of days ago when it was a little chilly, so that was nice to see. But he also kind of wore them out, and I saw like 2 tiny holes on the bottom of the sole, so I don't know if I want to mend them, or it might just be easier for me to knit another pair for him. Maybe for Christmas, I'm thinking. I don't want to say it too loud. Well, he can't hear me anyways, but I was thinking maybe for Christmas. But his feet are so large that it takes me such a long time to knit, so I don't know. Maybe for Christmas. We'll see. Yes, and the reason I say that is because I'm a slow knitter. Don't get me wrong, I like knitting things for my kids. Not all of them like hand knit things in my family, but he definitely appreciates it, which is nice. So school's started. We are now into a routine of school and work, and getting meals prepped and all of that. I'm sort of liking it. It's a little less chaotic for me, so it's a little less stressful that way. And you know, just being able to have a routine and everyone go to bed on time, because you know, they can't get to sleep and they have to wake up early too. So it's kind of nice in a way, but you know, I do feel bad, especially for my 10-year-old, who has a hard time waking up in the mornings. That, you know, when the weather starts to get colder, it might be a little harder for us to get him up. Oh, it's starting to get windy now. Okay. I'll see how long I can hang out here, or maybe I'll move along faster. Oh, yes, and just one more thing. Congratulations to all the winners on the KAL that we did, the Let's Knit KAL, that I announced the winners in the last episode. So if you haven't watched the last episode, go watch it back, because I still haven't heard from you. And that being said, some of you, I haven't heard from some of the monthly prize winners yet. So that being said, I just want to say that I promised to get parcels out for the packages that I was supposed to mail out for the 2 winners. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to do that. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, by Tuesday maybe I'll try and package it today, but I also have to edit this podcast and get it out. So I am so sorry, but I will get it out as soon as I can. I know you're quite eager to receive those parcels, but I am still rearranging things and I can't find my mailing package, the packages themselves. So the hunt has been on, and I'm trying to chip away at the boxes as much as I can during the week, and we got some done over the weekend, but I haven't found it yet. So I'll let you know as soon as I can get it out, okay? And I apologize for the delay. All right, moving along to finished objects. Yes, I do have one. And for those who've been following me on Instagram, I can't wait, so I have to post things on there. So, but this is quite exciting. It's a pair of socks, and it's quite exciting because I want to write up this pattern. I enjoyed knitting it so much, and I thought I will just share it with anyone else who's interested in knitting it up too. So I'm calling it the Downtown Shorties, and this is the pattern. It's a very simple pattern. It's almost like a reverse ribbing, but the thing with that, the ribbing, is that it sort of fades and goes away into plain stockinette rows just before you get to the toes. So it's quite simple. I've done a 2x2 ribbing, and then the pattern for a few rows, and I'm gonna write up heel flap, heel turn, and gusset, but I have used Fish Lips Kiss heel because that is my preferred heel. It fits me really well, and that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that was the first heel that I tried, and so it stuck with me, and I seem to be able to work it without thinking about it too much. And yes, and the third, again, it fits me very well, so why not, right? Yeah, and then the pattern goes on down the top of the foot, and it's just plain on the bottom, and you end up with just the regular decreased toe. So yeah, I'm gonna call it the Downtown Shorties, and I will write up the pattern and put it on Ravelry so that anyone else can knit it as well. And it is a fairly easy pattern, but it's just a little bit working of the ribbing, or the reversed ribbing, I would call it, just by changing the count of the stitch pattern here. Yeah, and if you remember, this was the yarn that I started off doing the affair socks. So I have been doing, for those that are new, I started off the year with one of the goals was to knit a pair of socks or 12 pairs of socks by the end of the year. I'll alter that a little bit. I originally started off saying a pair a month, and I wanted to cast on the first of the month. That was it, and I called it the Year of Socks 2019, and I hashtagged it. I'll put it down here as SLK Year of Socks 2019. And so I was doing fine for January, February, March, April, May. So if you are new again, we have a thread open up on Ravelry, and it is for the Year of Socks, and others are participating in it as well. And hopefully we'll have 12 pairs of socks by the time Christmas comes around. We should have 12 pairs of socks, and those socks can be for yourself or giving away to somebody. It doesn't matter what. So I was doing fine until May, and then when I got to June, I picked a pattern and a yarn, and I thought it was a nice lacy pattern. It was the Affair socks. I started off with it, and I just actually, was it the Affair socks? I can't remember now. Yeah, I think it was the Affair socks. It's a lovely pattern, don't get me wrong. I knit a bit of the lace, the leg I believe, and then I just wasn't feeling it. The yarn wasn't, it's because I tried out a bamboo rayon yarn, I think, and it just wasn't working with the pattern. So I frogged it, and I picked up this yarn here, and I knit it again, and I did, those are fairly short, not very long legs, so I knit the Affair socks again while on my vacation, and then I kind of stopped. I was like, I'm still not feeling it, and the reason why is then I figured out what it was, is the largest size that it went up to was a 60 stitch, I believe, and I'm usually knitting 64 for my leg, my leg as well, my foot circumference, 64 stitches, and that is usually like a medium, I think. I could be wrong, but anyways, the 60 stitches, I try to get it on after I did the heel turn, and I was knitting a little bit of the gusset, and I tried to get the socks onto my foot just to see if it would fit, and it was just way too tight. There was no point in going on if it was way too tight. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be able to wear them. My daughter's feet, my daughter is 17 or will be in October, and her feet are bigger than mine, and my mom has the same size as me, and those are the three people that I knit socks for. So yeah, none of us could wear that sock, and I couldn't think of anyone else to give it to. I thought I had better use for both the pattern and the yarn, so I frogged it back again, and then I just couldn't think of what else to do, so I thought I'd just do my regular 3x1 ribbing all the way down the sock, and I would be done with it. So that's where I started off with a cuff, and then I started a pattern. I did the 3x1, and I thought, you know what, let me try this, a stitch, that pattern that came to my mind, and I said, let me try this. The worst that'll happen is I'll be ripping it back for the third time. My neighbor's dog is getting a little excited there. And so that's what I did, and I ended up knitting it, and the pattern just kind of flowed while I was doing it, so I had to quickly write it down for the next one, and I copied it on the second one. So I'm really, really happy that it turned out, and it's something that I really like. Now on to the another little story. It's going to be all about these socks today. I was using some yarn for the heels, and that's the yarn that I had planned to use for my toes. So while I was knitting it, I realized that the yarn was starting to come apart a little bit. So I got through, and I was knitting these concurrently because I had to make sure I was following the pattern on both socks. So I got through the heel, and then I started to just look at the yarn, and found out that with all of the moving around of the yarn, and when the people came in to do our floors and stuff, I'd left the yarn exposed in a little basket, I think, and our balcony door was open while they were working indoors, and what I'm thinking has happened is that moths got to it, so I could not continue with that yarn. And the rest of it just had to be put in the garbage. Unfortunately, it's Madeline Tosh. I can't remember the colorway, but it's a nice sort of a brighter, creamy white color. It's not white. It's a little cream compared to the white. Then when I was looking at the yarn, I was like, okay, I've done my socks. I don't want to rip it up again. I've done my heel already. I noticed that there were speckles of mustard in there, like a little bit, you could see. And I had a nice, just a little bit left of this yarn. It's Capretta by Knit Picks. Capretta in the colorway, I believe turmeric. I'm not sure. Anyway, I knit a pair of mittens a long time ago, and with this yarn, and it's a really nice yarn. So I had just a little bit left, and that's what I use for the toes. So it worked out really nice, and I think I like the finished look of it. Different color for heels and toes, and I might write that up in the pattern as well. Why not? You could try it and see if you guys like it too. So there you go. These are my downtown shorties, and the inspiration for this is from just the skyscrapers. As we head into downtown Toronto, you can see the skyscrapers, and in the evening when the train is moving away from downtown, they sort of fade away, and the houses the buildings become smaller and just more residential, and that's the whole inspiration for the socks. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. I should have it written up, and I will definitely let you know when I have the pattern ready, and I'm hoping to have it done before the next podcast. My downtown shorty socks. And then moving on to works in progress, it's all about socks this week. I have been working a few rows on my Rocane pullover. I've been working a few rows on my Rocane pullover, but I don't have that with me to share with you because it's just a tiny little bit, and yes, I'll talk more about it when I am actually showing it to you. I did knit more than a tiny little bit, but ended up ripping it out and starting over. It seems like a theme, but I am enjoying the knitting, and that's what counts, right? Okay, and then moving on, in this little project bag of mine that I made a long time ago, and it's got a matching DPN holder that I'm not using right now. Well, I'm done the one part of the socks for now, so I will be using it again. This is a sock tube that I knit, and you can see that it's got cuffs on both sides, and it's just a tube. It's not, you guys will be surprised. For those of you who know me, I don't like knitting vanilla socks, but I have to say this went so fast and I enjoyed it, and I think it had to do with the pattern. The yarn is Gumi 50 by Berger de France, and the colorway is Imprim Ciel. That's C-I-E-L. I'll put up the details on the screen. And I bought this yarn probably about 2.5 years ago. Definitely before I started the podcast. I had made a purchase of all these sock yarns from, well, these Gumi 50 balls of yarn from Berger de France when they had a sale. I want to say 2017, August of 2017 or something like that. And no, it must have been, yeah, around then, probably. I can't remember. Anyways, I put it away for a while, and then I just found it with all of the renovation. It was in a box somewhere where I had forgotten all about it. So that was like a little present, you know, finding some yarn, and lovely yarn too, which was really nice. Anyway, so I picked up one of the balls, and this is a 50-gram ball, and I'll show you that I have quite a bit left of it. It's probably about, I didn't weigh it, but about this much more. And yeah, so I just knit it, and I try to keep it a little bit symmetrical, although the colors are going to be switched. You can see, like, when I hold it up here, it's blowing out, but the purple comes on the top and the blue on the bottom, and then on this one it's going to be the blue on the top and the purple on the bottom. Same here. And okay, so this whole thing, I just lost some light, there we go. This whole thing was inspired by Ellie of Crafthouse Magic. Hi Ellie, if you're watching. She is a very, very talented person, as many of you know, because you've come to watch me from her podcast. And I really enjoy the crafts that she does, all of it. And you know, she's very generous in sharing her talents and sharing her knowledge of different things with us in tutorials. So I was watching one of the tutorials she had put out on Afterthought Everything, I think it is. I'll link the video down below for you. So basically what it is you knit up this tube with cuffs on both ends, and then hers, she's cutting them up into, it's a longer tube, and she's cutting it up into make 4 socks or 2 pairs of socks, but I'm just going to be doing 2. These are going to have quite a short leg to it, and this is going to be the foot part of it around here. So now all I have to do is find the halfway point, snip out and stitch, and then unravel it, pick up the stitches on both these socks on 2 different sides, knit up toes for them, and then find the spot where the heel is, and do a true Afterthought heel for both of them. So I got this done by Friday evening, and today is Sunday. Yesterday I was all set to cut into this, but then I went ahead and did something else. So I'm going to put this on hold. I will hopefully have this done before the next podcast. I will not hold myself to that, but I will try to have it done before the next podcast. And I haven't thought of what the yarn's going to be for the contrast. I sort of have an idea, but I haven't actually picked it. So yes, so the reason I stopped that is because Hannah of Yarnier Designs on Instagram, and I believe she has a podcast as well. I will put it up on the screen. But Hannah has a new pattern that's out, or will be out, and she was looking for test knitters. So I volunteered on Friday night. I volunteered to be a test knitter for her, and she accepted, and so that's the reason. And I have a deadline for it. So that's the reason I had to put that sock tube on hold for a bit and start on this. So this is my next pair of socks, or sock for now, and it's called, her pattern is called Cinnamon Apple Socks, and it's a beautiful pattern, and I am really enjoying knitting it. I chose to do the shorty version. I've just been enjoying short socks for a while now, so I'm just continuing with that and doing the shorty version. So she has given us permission to share on social media our progress and what we're working on and all of that. So it's with her permission that I am sharing it. This is what I've knit so far. I'm doing a contrast heel, and maybe I'll go through the yarns that I've picked. I've picked about 6 different yarn, sort of with a pink theme to it, because that's similar to what well, Hannah had a bit of a version, let's just say that, but I was trying to stay within the same color range. And so here we start off. this yarn here, there, it's that color there. It's sort of like a light, very light cream, but it's got a touch of pink, and you can't see it. It's got these tiny speckles. Oops, let me see if you can get there. Tiny speckles of pink there. Very subtle, very subtle, and it's from the Wool Barn. So I started off with that. My cast on, I did a long tail cast on for the cast on, but it's not very neat. I don't know why. I'm not very happy with it, but I thought I'd just go on anyways. And then moving on to the heel, it's like a version of a heel, eye of partridge heel, and you can see it. It's got a pattern to it, like it's got a texture to it, but it's not the eye of partridge heel. It's not, and that's all I'll say about it. And I've done a heel flap and heel turn in that color, and then I switched yarns again. And this here is, I forget what this yarn is. I'll try to remember and put it up, but it's got tiny speckles of the pink and orange and a little bit of purple in there as well. So yeah, that's my third color that I'm going into, third yarn that I'm going into, and that's all I've done. So the pattern has a little bit of a texture, and I hope to have this done soon. I think that's all I'm gonna say on that. It's housed in my, I am so fond of this bag. It's a lovely drawstring bag. I believe it's called the Flower Garden by Eva Faith Shop. On Etsy, it's Paula, who's the Snail Garden Eva Faith on Instagram. And I love these drawstring bags and the little English paper piece saying Hexies in the front. And oh yeah, she's got a little button as well. So those are my works in progress, and like I said, I did work a little bit on the Rocaine pullover, but I'm not going to share it today. I will when I have a little more to show you. And then the last thing is that I've been very good in knitting from stash for a while now, and I think I'm enjoying that, also because I'm running out of space. I have nowhere to put things, and I don't want it to be so much where I don't know what I have, because I'm putting it all over the place, and I would rather keep it contained. We all enjoy yarn, but I think at this point I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed with all the yarn I have, and you know, especially with trying to organize things around the house with all of the renovation that happened. I realized that I really need to have project in mind for my yarn, and if something comes by and I really like it, sure, and if I can buy it, I will. But I think I want to try and knit from stash as much as possible, because I have a lot of lovely yarn and I think it's time I use them. So yeah, but something that I have been shopping for a very long time, just because it wasn't a need, it was a want. And I'm so happy that I found something within my price point, and that is a wooden Swift. So this is what I got, and I got mine on Amazon. I'm not sure if I know who the seller is, but I could look it up. So if you are interested, I can find out for you. And I found that this one's made really well. It had a lot of good reviews on it, and I liked that they had the darker color. I was looking for something with a darker color, and the birch ones are usually a lighter color wood, and then I found this one. It has a nice knob on it, and it's just got a really good finish. I have not used it yet, so I will update you on how it does when I do wind up my skein of yarn. the next time. But I have to say I'm really thrilled with it. So this is my acquisition that I have to share with you for this week, and I am very, very excited to have received it. I actually received it a day or two before we went on vacation, but with all of the move, I put it away, and now when I was sorting things out, I found it again, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot. I forgot I got it. So I had actually put it into my yoga bag because I thought it fit in there very well. So that gave me an idea on making a case for it. And yeah, just out of an old pillowcase, and just sewing up the side, and it'll be a case for my Swift, so I can keep it away, and you know that it won't get dusty or anything like that while it's not being used. Yes, I don't have the luxury of leaving my Swift open outside because there isn't a spot for it, so to say. But yeah, so that's what's been going on. I really enjoyed chatting with all of you, and I hope your week ahead is lovely and that you're enjoying the weather wherever you are. I know I like this weather. It's not so hot, and it's actually nice and cool. Today's a little more on the chillier side, but it makes you want to knit, and which is fantastic for us. I have lots of plans to knit different things, just make different things. I've been doing a lot of crafts other than knitting through the week, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and like I said, just whatever makes me happy at that moment. And I try to take the time to do something relaxing for just even a few minutes in the day, and it's always very nice. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of your week. I thank you very much for watching. I thank you for all of your lovely comments, and if you know someone who would be interested in joining our knit group, then do welcome them in and let them know about it. Thanks again for watching, and if you are new and you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to subscribe and give me a thumbs up for a like, and hit that little notification bell so you'll know when I upload a video. And if you have the time, hang around and watch another one. And thank you very much for watching, and until next time,